Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us tonight for News Leader 9 at 11. I'm Barbara Goche. Jason is on assignment tonight. The Uptown Concert Series continues tonight in Columbus, but tonight's event had an added bonus. Scott Ressmeyer and his band of Miracle Riders made a stop by tonight's show. Police escort brought the Miracle Riders onto Broadway in Uptown Columbus earlier this evening. The Riders parted a sea of supporters who were all there to welcome them all back home. Scott's Miracle Ride came to an end today, raising $215,000 after their 21-day trip around the country to benefit the Children's Miracle Network at the Midtown Medical Center.
Here is what we ride for, actually, right here. It doesn't matter how many miles you do in a day. It doesn't matter if you ride through rain, if you ride through snow. You walk into the hospital and you see that, you're ready to get on your bike and go again.
Well, tonight's free concert was filled with great music with Kale Dodd and Classic Addict. They kept the crowd rocking through the night. Next week, by the way, the concert series welcomes the Lava Lamps. And the Chattahoochee Valley gave Scott's Ride a warm welcome home tonight. News Leader 9 has been following the ride since day one, back on May 2nd. Our own Tyrone McCoy was at the National Infantry Museum as Scott and his Miracle Riders wrapped up their ride. Tyrone brings us more on Scott's journey and the story that is all new at 11.
Through 48 states in 21 days, that's what these guys did. That's Scott's Miracle Riders, trying to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. Now they're back here in the Fountain City.
The country's beautiful, the landscape's beautiful, the people that we meet are incredible, but riding with these 15 other guys has just been, it's just once in a lifetime experience.
Scott Ressmeyer and 15 other bikers started their journey on May the 2nd with a hefty task of covering nearly 9,000 miles cross country to fund health care for children right here in the Chattahoochee Valley. Each rider committing their own time and money to the cause.
Each one of the riders are probably spending about $4,500 of their own money.
Started as a solo ride in 2009, Ressmeyer set out to ride annually for 10 years or raise $1 million, whichever comes first. And each year since, support has grown for the Two-Wheel Children's fundraiser. Support people like Janet Biggers says she takes personal.
I have a grandchild that was a preemie and had to spend time in the NICU, and I know how important that is and how critical that is. It's just a wonderful event.
Biggers and others prepared to join the Miracle Riders on the last leg of the trip from the National Infantry Museum down the Riverwalk and into Uptown Columbus. One rider says the anticipation reminds him of his weeks-long trek with the Riders in 2012.
I was 76 at the time, and but I made it, and I'll always enjoy it. It's one of my big memories in my life.
When the Riders finally came thundering through, the crowd of supporters erupted in applause and cheers, welcoming the crew, escorted by the Harris County Sheriff's Department to a table full of country's tea, and later initiating their newest member with a duster and a hat for next year's ride. Tyrone McCoy, WTVM, News Leader 9.
And the Miracle Riders having great weather around here today as they rode on into town. Still nice out there tonight too. 80 in Columbus, 76 in Albany, 71 in Auburn, and 74 up in the city of Birmingham. So feeling very summer like out there tonight, and we'll have to get used to nights like this. It's the kind of weather we're going to see as we go through the next few months. Now, as we check out our satellite and radar view, we don't find any rain around here, but we find some high thin clouds just off to our west. Now, these are moving into the area and might stick with us at times tonight. So no rain falling out of these clouds, but waking up tomorrow morning, there might be a few high thin clouds in the sky with temperatures in the upper 60s as we start things off on your Saturday morning. But another big warm up coming by tomorrow afternoon. We're going to talk more about what to expect for the rest of your Memorial Day weekend. We'll break it all down for you coming up a little bit later on. Barbara.
All right, Derek, thank you. An attorney for a Lee County, Alabama man enters a not guilty plea today in court for his client in a vehicular homicide case. 22-year-old Collier Ann Byers was killed in the August 18th accident where her boyfriend, Parker Ivy, was the driver. According to state troopers, Ivy was intoxicated on the drive home from a baseball game in Atlanta when his Jeep left the interstate in Lee County, overturned and rolled down an embankment, killing Byers. Ivy was not injured in the crash. He is currently out on bond. A trial date has not yet been set. A Massachusetts man convicted of killing his 7-year-old son was found dead in his jail cell today. Officials say it was an apparent suicide 41-year-old Leslie Schuler was found hanging in his cell at MCI Cedar Junction in Walpole about 4:30 this morning. Schuler pleaded guilty to second-degree murder for the severe beating of his son, Nathaniel Turner, who lived in Eufaula, Alabama with his grandmother. The boy was spending the summer with his father when he was killed in June of 2009. Schuler was serving a life sentence where he could have had the possibility for parole after 15 years. The parents of a woman killed during the filming of Midnight Rider have filed a wrongful death lawsuit. 27-year-old Sarah Jones was killed in February when a freight train crashed into the crew on a historic train trestle in Doctortown, Georgia. Dave Huddleston spoke to Jones's parents about a project called Slates for Sarah and what it hopes to accomplish.
She made a difference in her earthly life, and now taking what has happened and she's still making a difference.
What's happened is the death of 27-year-old Sarah Jones of Atlanta is giving film crews the courage to speak up when they don't feel safe on a movie set. They're calling it Slates for Sarah. Film slates with messages like "Rest in peace, Sarah," and "Never forget, never again."
Her spirit seems to be just living on. That she's making a difference.
Earlier this year, Sarah was hit and killed by a train while working on the Greg Allman film in Wayne County, Georgia. Police investigators say the crew did not have permission to film a dream sequence with a bed on the tracks. Sarah's parents filed this lawsuit demanding changes in the film industry when it comes to young people and safety.
The reality is, if you're a young camera person, you're trying to make your way up in the business, and you don't feel comfortable about doing something, you say, hey, I'm not going to do that. In the back of your mind, you're concerned, does this mean I'm going to get blackballed?
But Sarah's death appears to have given film crews courage. Actor William Hurt, who played Greg Allman in the film, quit the movie after Sarah's death.
He came to the memorial service that we had for Sarah and spoke to us a little bit about that day. And it was evident that he was very shaken himself.
Other news for you tonight, it is a done deal. The 5-member Board of Elections in Muskogee County met today to certify the final results of this week's primary election. This afternoon, they went through the process of counting the provisional ballots recommended by the election staff. 27 provisional ballots were approved to be counted, while 8 were rejected. Muskogee County's Director of Elections and Voter Registration says the numbers are not final until this certification process is complete.
They will be different. That is why we title every report that we have unofficial results, because they're not official until the board certifies on Friday, because we have to count the provisional ballots that were cast at the poll on Election Day.
Well, candidates who think they may have been eligible for a runoff have 2 business days to request a recount, and the race still on for 2 candidates vying for the District 2 seat on the Muskogee County School Board. John Thomas will go against John Wells, the incumbent, in the runoff on July 22nd. It is graduation time across the valley, and we want to remind you that News Leader 9 and the Muskogee County School District are partnering together to bring you all of this year's graduation ceremonies live as they happen. You and your family members out of town can watch them live on WTVM.com. 5 ceremonies will take place tomorrow starting at 9 in the morning. And for a look at graduation times for all schools, just go to WTVM.com and click on the Quick Links tab. Well, coming up here on the news at 11, 6 same-sex couples take to the courts to dispute their right to marriage. Hear what the South Dakota governor has to say about the laws now in place. Plus, a man bears it all in front of the White House. Find out what happened when News Leader 9 returns.